Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Uniquely Unqualified Podcast Take Two, where we go over one subject for easier content. Before we get into anything, please like and subscribe. I appreciate it. It helps me out as I grow this channel. I'm watching the numbers go up. Thank you all so much for liking and subscribing. Let's get into it. This is going to be a little bit of a longer one. I'm going to have to reference some notes. Robert Mueller died. Robert Mueller was, we'll do a little foreshadowing for you here. And then you're going to see me do something that I haven't done, is I'm going to pick up my phone and reference my notes on that. So Robert Mueller was the special counsel for the Russiagate thing from 2017 to 2019. So Robert Mueller died last Friday at the age of 81, nearly 82, would have been 82 this year. Robert Mueller, born August 7th, 1944, died March 20th, 2026. Former FBI director from 2001 to 2013. Who is that under? George W. Bush and Barack Hussein Obama. Before that, he had been the Deputy Attorney General for the U.S. In 2001. So in 2001, he was assigned the Deputy AG and then basically got transferred over and is the FBI Director. So from a Deputy Attorney General to the Director of the FBI. Member of the Republican Party. He's interesting to note. Not really, because he was appointed, or however they do that thing, for the Deputy AG under George W. Bush. So, what is Trump got his panties in a twist about with Robert Mueller? Well, Robert Mueller, facilitated the Mueller report. Well, the Mueller report basically stated that it found no one in the Trump campaign doing any nefarious dealings with Russia. So in the Mueller report, named after Robert Mueller, who Trump fucking hates, in the Mueller report, it says that they did not conclude, they didn't find that anybody in Trump's camp did anything illegal with Russia. And they didn't find anything about Russia. Nothing. But I think we all know that's not the rest of the story. So, even though the Mueller report didn't find that neither Donald Trump nor any of his campaign staff were colluding with Russia, didn't find that, there were still indictments and convictions. And so here I will go ahead and just give you, this isn't me saying this. I don't have a lot of like and trust and all that stuff in Google or their AI bot. But there are certain subjects that are quite easy to kind of hack that algorithm that they use, basically. And you just gotta ask the right question. You can't just say, who was Robert Mueller? You're not gonna find jack shit on the Mueller report if you just Google search who was Robert Mueller. As a matter of fact, it'll sound quite favorable towards him. So I'm going to read you this. Robert Mueller, as special counsel from 2017 to 2019, led a 22-month investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election and potential collusion with Donald Trump's campaign. The probe led to multiple indictments, convictions, or plea deals for key Trump associates and found extensive Russian interference, but did not establish a criminal conspiracy with the campaign. So, let's get into the indictments and convictions. The investigation resulted in 37 indictments, including campaign manager Paul Manafort and National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. I think Michael Flynn's out right now. However, I will say, if the report, and it does get down here to the bullet points, if the report didn't find anything, well, how the fuck are you indicting people? And how the fuck are you convicting them of anything? Inconclusive on collusion. The report did not establish that members of the Trump campaign criminally conspired or coordinated with Russia. Case closed, motherfuckers. So why did we go into the Steele dossier? Why did we have all that other bullshit? You know, this is why Donald Trump hates this motherfucker. He said something that I don't think he should have said, and that good, I'm glad he's dead. However, let's also look at this on another shitty way of looking at it. It's shitty. Look what this motherfucker put Donald Trump, his reputation, and his family through. All for Donald Trump to come out on top. Let's note that. Obstruction of justice. Mueller did not make a traditional prosecutorial judgment on whether Trump obstructed justice, stating, quote, while this report does not conclude that the president committed a crime, it also does not exonerate him, end quote. Well, that's the problem, because that quote opens up for them to just continue to harass Donald Trump and his campaign and his presidency. This is what brought the whole Russia hoax, Russia collusion shit to bear, right? And I'm sorry for any of you crazy boomers that haven't caught the news that the Russia hoax was a hoax. And frankly, this Robert Mueller guy committed treason. But wait, there's more. Because listen to the dates that he was the FBI director. You know, Barack Obama, according to the DNI, Tulsi Gabbard, Barack Obama was directly implicated in all this. You can't coup a president and you can't prosecute your political enemies. This is America. You can't do that. That's fucking treason. Evidence of obstruction. The report highlighted 10 episodes in which Trump and his aides may have obstructed the investigation. However, I will note to you that there are none of those highlights on these bullet points. And the fact that he has to say, oh, he may have, well, I may have taken a shit in the neighbor's toilet, shh, but I didn't, so the neighbor can't fucking come over here yelling at me. You can't say like, oh, it may have been this, it may have been him. Let's go at, you can't do that. That's the reason why shit like the Innocence Project exists. That's why prosecutors, that's why dirty prosecutors are having a bunch of their, you know, like their reputations ruined, especially when somebody like Josh Dubin goes out and gets a guy that's been in jail for 20 plus years exonerated, and they actually find the person who does it. That's all that, well, he might have done it bullshit. So you can't come at people like that. That's not proper, it's not proper justice. No indictment of sitting president, no shit. Mueller cited Justice Department guidelines against indicting a sitting president. Though throughout the process, Trump condemned the inquiry as a witch hunt, now we know that it was, and regularly attacked Mueller on social media. Well, wouldn't you? You're literally public enemy number one to the system. A system that a few Americans, but Donald Trump had his finger on the pulse of, that was horribly, wretchedly corrupt. Our American government would tell you, the citizen, about corruption in Ukraine, how Israel is corrupt, Iran is corrupt, France is corrupt, Germany is corrupt. If you've been paying any attention to American and global politics over the past year, since 2020, I would argue that America is the most corrupt government. The U.S. government is the most corrupt government on the planet. Why? Because there are motherfuckers getting away with shit like this. It's literally treason. Literally. Just like those 6 senators came out and they were calling them the seditious 6. Well, it is. They committed sedition. You had no intention. You can come out and say all you want that, oh, we were just reminding the service members. You don't need to remind service members bullshit. You don't need to remind them shit. You don't need to remind them shit. You are not in their chain of command, 1. 2, it is outlined, and when you get into fucking basic training, what an unlawful, not an illegal order, what an unlawful is categorized as under UCMJ, Uniform Code of Military Justice. If you wanted to deal with the troops and tell them, the 6 of you seditious senators, if you wanted to go and tell the troops about how you don't have to follow an unlawful order, then you would have stayed the fuck off of TikTok, X, MSNBC, etc., and you would have gone to the troops, because it's not the public's fucking job to know what an unlawful order is when you have signed a contract with the United States government, because the Commander-in-Chief is, that's where these unlawful orders, he's not, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little rattled about this. Those 6 senators had no intention of bringing this information to service members. The service members already know that they do not and are obligated to not follow an unlawful order. What those 6 senators were doing was riling up Americans that sit with their fucking phone in their hands all day, that don't know their ass from a hole in the ground, let alone Uniform Code of Military Justice. Plus, they used the incorrect term, and they put it out for every 18, 19-year-old, 30-year-old on TikTok, every fucking libtard out there. They put it out there for them to see, not for the military to be reassured that they don't need to do anything about these, supposed drug boats. That's not what that was about. That was about creating division politically from potential voters to say that, oh, Donald Trump is doing illegal things and these senators just want to make sure that he's not doing it. And so they're saying that the military members don't have to do. They already know. They already know. But here's the problem with it. When you go and do a fucking double tap, I understand that those drug boats might not have been drug boats. I get it. But I've seen that shit happen for years. For years. You're not just throwing a 40-millimeter grenade from a Mark 19. You're not just lobbing one into a fucking building and saying, is anybody alive in there? No, you go thunk, 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 thunk. Thunk, 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 and people fucking die. That's what you fucking do. When the military is on site, that's what we're here to do. It's kind of like that line in Step Brothers. We're here to fuck shit up. That's what we do. We aren't an international aid committee. It's not that I'm saying I agree with the Trump administration saying those are drug boats. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you can't have senators and otherwise bureaucrats undermining the commander-in-chief, because that is sedition and treason. Those words have definitions. And when you look those definitions up and the actions of these people, those people have committed the act of that word as guided by the definition of that word. So no, a president of the United States should never say, good, I'm glad he's dead. But I was saying, fuck Robert Mueller before he was ever dead. Uniquely Unqualified Podcast Take Two. Thanks for liking and subscribing. We'll see you next time.